Hey, today I want to show you a workflow on how to scrape Skool communities. So you are able to get the list of all the members within the Skool communities alongside the social profiles such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, also emails possibly. And in that way, you can actually find where the people that you are interested in are at in a group and then get all this kind of information. With that said, let's start building. Okay, so our overall goal here is to scrape a Skool community and actually get a Google lead list. So the final outcome here would be a Google Sheets spread list. So Google Sheets with a list of people within a specific school community. So in order to do that, what do we need to do? So first off, we need to have, I think as an input, the name of the community. So add name of community. Secondly, we need to use a scraper within the Eden API probably. So use Eden API to find scraper or to find API response. Then we will call that API using Postman or make. And then finally, we will add all the information to a Google Sheet. So yeah, this is the basis of our actual plan and our actual idea when actually scraping Skool communities. And so right now what we can do is we can first get started on checking the Eden API and checking what is actually present within Skool so that we can start to use that. And secondly is we can start to create the make automation in order to do everything over here. So let's jump onto Skool, and what I would like to do is I would like to take a group which is like a somewhat big group, and I also think a free group, which is this Accelerator University. So what I would like to do is check for the Eden API or the internal API so that we can see what kind of damage we can do. So right now I'm changing community, and over here, for example, I see that we have a API, this API. So over here I can go to the response and I can check the API. So this API seems to be something related to the posts that are present within the community. Meanwhile, what we are actually looking for are the members. And so over here we have the members. Yeah, it seems that over here we actually have a table with how many members are present, how many admins are present, and how many online people are present. And so over here we have names, and we also have profiles, profile links over here. So this will also be something really useful. And what I can see over here is that we have like created that. We have first name, last name, and yeah, and also we have a bio that we can possibly use if we want to. So yeah, it seems that this seems to be the correct thing. One thing that I would like to understand is if I go down here at the bottom, over here I would have some like the last person, which is this person over here. So the important thing that I like to understand is how is the data updated over here, and it seems that the data here is updated based on this parameter P, which is the actual page. Yeah, so here we have this school.com, next the data, we have this ID over here, which could be the ID of the community, I suppose. I think this could be the ID of the community, but we can see that from here because like I added a different community over here. So we have this 1732, and if we go down here, we always have the same. So I don't know what this is actually, but we can try to use this. Yeah, over here what we have is we have a cookie, and so our actual goal here is making sure that we can find a way to use this kind of system and try to see if that system actually works. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna open Postman, and within Postman what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the URL and try to paste the URL over here. Yeah, over here, let's leave this one over here. Yeah, I copied pretty much everything, I think, other than the cookie, which is probably the most important part that we need for Postman over here. So let's also try to copy this. So yeah, let's try this out. Yeah, as you can see here, we have the list of users. An important thing over here would be to get an understanding of how many users are present within the system. So what I can do over here is I can copy this, and then I can just go back to make.com to check this out. So let me go to make.com, to the development part, then let's start creating a new scenario. And over here, we're gonna put a JSON over here. And so we're gonna run this. So if this is invalid, we go back over here, we check why this is invalid, auto repair this, and then go back to make. So we have the correct one. Okay, so over here you see we have page props, we have these table chips over here where it mentions how many members are present, and yeah, we can definitely use this. Let me go back to search. We have users over here, so okay, we have 30 users per page. So what we will need to think about is extracting this member number over here, and once we are extracting that, divided this number for 30, because I think that is the number of pages that we can that it can visit. And then once we find the information for each of the people, we can add those to a Google Sheet file or something along those lines. So yeah, the other component here, so we started to have some idea of how the data is within Skool. We tested the API, we see that this actually works. The other thing that I would like to test out is getting an understanding of the cookie itself that is present within Postman over here. And so the overall goal right now is getting an understanding of this and getting an understanding of whether we need everything that is present over here or we just need some specific information. So like the thing that I'm seeing over here that could be like the most useful thing is this OAuth token. And so I would like to test out if this actually works just with this OAuth token, and it seems to be working correctly. The thing that I don't know is whether this changes from session to session, and yeah, that would be something to think about. But generally, like, we don't really care that much about it because like we can just find this once and add that within the automation and let the automation run. So with that said, I think it's good to come back over here and try to get an understanding of what the system could be like. So what I would do personally is I would start off with having an input, which is like the community name. And if we go back here, we can see the community name seems to be the name, and the name is always stuck like underscore and stuck together. So if I try another company over here, okay, it seems that the community name is different here. But yeah, we will not focus about that. We will focus on like the actual automation itself first, and then we can think about additional parts that we can add on top of that. So if this is invalid, we go back over here, we check why this is invalid, auto repair this, and then go back to make. So we have the correct one. Okay, so over here you see we have page props, we have these table chips over here where it mentions how many members are present, and yeah, we can definitely use this. And then let me go back to search. We have users over here, so users, okay, we have 30 users per page. So what we will need to think about is extracting this member number over here. And once we are extracting that, divided this number for 30, because I think that is the number of pages that we can that it can visit. And then once we find the information for each of the people, we can add those to a Google Sheet file or something along those lines. So the other component here, so we started to have some idea of how the data is within Skool. We tested the API. We see that this actually works. The other thing that I would like to test out is getting an understanding of the cookie itself that is present within Postman over here. And so the overall goal right now is getting an understanding of this and getting an understanding of whether we need everything that is present over here or we just need some specific information. So like the thing that I'm seeing over here that could be like the most useful thing is this out token. And so I would like to test out if this actually works just with this OAuth token, and it seems to be working correctly. The thing that I don't know is whether this changes from session to session, and yeah, that would be something to think about. But generally, like, we don't really care that much about it because like we can just find this once and add that within the automation and let the automation run. So with that said, I think it's good to come back over here and try to get an understanding of what the system could be like. So what I would do personally is I would start off with having an input, which is like the community name. And if we go back here, we can see the community name seems to be the name, and the name is always stuck like underscore and stuck together. So if I try another company over here, okay, it seems that the community name is different here. But yeah, we will not focus about that. We will focus on the actual automation itself first, and then we can think about additional parts that we can add on top of that. So yeah, over here we have the input, and so what we can do here is set a variable, which would be the name of the community. And over here, what we can do is we can say we can find this in the hidden API, which is good. And then what we will need to do over here is create HTTP request to get the community members. After we get them, we will need to add the community members to Google Sheet. And yeah, so what I would do here is I would add the information that we actually need to have. So the information that we need to have are the first name, last name, any possible links. So last name, LinkedIn. I will also add the bio, LinkedIn URL, Facebook URL, Twitter URL. And I mean, those are really valuable information. YouTube URL. And let's go back to make 1 second so we can actually see the information that we have for each user. So we have first name, last name. Ideally, we can also put email over here, even if probably no one is gonna have the email. We can also put the picture profile URL if we wanted to, like just to, I mean, probably is not gonna be the most important thing here. So but let's remove that. I would say this is a good start for everything over here. So let's go back to make and let's change this to how to scrape Skool community. So what I'm gonna do over here is I'm gonna create a set variables which will be community name. We will use the community that we got over here, which I think was, let me go back to Postman, Accelerator University. So get community name, then over here we will use a request. The request will be exactly the same that we have within here. Probably we're gonna change a couple of things. So we're gonna change this over here for sure. So in this way we will add the community name. We're gonna remove everything over here, and we'll start with 1, but then we will also change this, then community name, and then over here we will put the cookie. I think the cookie is related to the current login, so maybe if we change the login, this cookie will be different. But yeah, let's start with this, and then we will make changes as we find those. Okay, I think also this part over here we could add that in this way, p = 1, and then we have a group. So in this way, we can remove the query parameters and then get the school community users. Okay, we actually got them. So like this is very good start. And right now, what we're gonna do is we will add the community members to Google Sheet. So like we will use that as a starting point, and then we will do changes from here. So let me create a Google Sheet, 1 second, sheets.new, and like we're gonna call this how to create school groups. And over here, we will add all the different information: first name, last name, bio, LinkedIn URL, Facebook, Twitter URL, YouTube URL, and email. And so yeah, that would be a good starting point for this kind of automation over here. And then we will call this school users. Perfect. So right now, what we will need to do is we have an array over here. And so what we will need to do is iterate on this array. And then we will select this specific array, iterate on users array. And then over here, we will use Google Sheet to add a row. Probably we're gonna need to find this Google Sheet, but I will add that manually. So in order to add that manually, I will need to add a spreadsheet ID, which I can find in the URL, which is this one over here. Then here we have school users, right? Column range A to Z. And then here we will add all the different information. So as we said, first name, last name. So first name, last name. And then we will see bio, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. By LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I think also here other two things would be Instagram. Then we can also add website. So we have LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. This is Instagram. And then we have Twitter, YouTube, website, email. Twitter, YouTube, website, email is here. And another thing that which could be useful is location. We can also add the Myers-Briggs if we really wanted to. Like the Myers-Briggs is a personality test, and so like potentially what we could do is like think about something related to the personality test and use that as a like personalization point. But I mean, this is definitely a stretch. So location, Myers-Briggs, and also here time zone. I want to add also this kind of information just for potential personalization or potential like clear time zone matches for people or things of that nature. So yeah, we said location, Myers-Briggs, and then time zone. Okay, so yeah, that's that. So yeah, add rows to Google Sheets. And then we will test this out. We will test this first version out and we will see what is the actual result looking like. Seems good. Okay. So yeah, this is a first draft over here. There are a couple of things that we need to consider. So first off, the thing that we need to consider is that we will need to iterate on this. We will need to iterate on this a couple of times in order to get all the people within the system, right? So right now we just added 30 people, but if we want to have everyone within the community and have that all within this file over here, we will need to do some kind of iteration for that. So let me go back over here and cancel everything. So over here is, okay, get school community user. We will have this as the first one. And right now I want to stop this part over here. And I would like to use regex to find which are regular expressions or way of actually extracting information to find numbers in a specific piece of content over here. So yeah, we will use match pattern over here. As text, we will use tab chips. And now let me explain this a little bit better. 1 second. So over here, what we need to do over here is you see that within here, let me zoom in, within tab chips, what we have over here is we have different tabs for different information. So the information that we want ourselves is this information related to members. So tab chips is an array, right? And so like the first thing here is how do we actually extract that information? So the information that we want to extract is the information where we have tab chips, like where the key, we want the label, but we want the label where the actual key here is equal to member. So in order to do that, member count, what we're gonna do is the following. We're gonna use a map function within Airtable. We're gonna use tab chips. Over here, we're gonna use the value, and we're gonna use the value where key equal member. And yeah, so let me go back again. So making sure that I did something correct over here. Is not value, it's label. So what this actually does is we simplify an array by extracting the information that is within an array. So for example, within this array over here, with these tab chips over here, we have different collections, and within different collections, there are different information. So by using the map, what we can do is we can extract, for example, the label of each of the arrays. So that transforms that into an actual array of the labels. And that would be something like members 7807 and what were the other admins online. Before doing that, let me show you what is the actual example of this first. So over here, what we will get is we will get an array like the following. But the problem with this is that, I mean, we have the information that we want to, but we also have these other two elements which are present. There are two ways of solving this. So the first way could be to use a get over here and extract the first element of the array. And so in that way, what we actually get is the member count. So if we go back over here and check the response, over here we get the member count. Yeah, probably not the correct approach, because it didn't get me what I was hoping for. So instead, what I can do over here is like I want the label, but I can filter this. And so like I can do key, and I use the key value as filtering, and then I can add member over here. So by doing this right now, the outcome that I should expect is a member count array, but we only have one element, which is this member 7807. And right now I can use the get, and the get returns the value path of an object or an array. So for example, right now we want to return the only element which is present. So by doing this, I run this again, and I see I only get the member count. So what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna connect this text parser, and I think let me go back 1 second and reload the page. So I'm gonna connect this text parser over here. I will add the pattern of matches digit or matches one or more digits. This is a regex pattern that allows us to find only the numbers within a specific string. And so in this way, we can actually only get the numbers out of a specific string. And so if I add the member count over here, what you will see right now is that over here, we don't get anything. And the reason, I think, is something along these lines. Let me check on this. Okay, so let's go back. So you see over here, we have the fallback match, which is exactly what we were hoping to get. So what I can do over here is I can remove this from here, and I can add this over here. So in this way I can save a couple of operations. I mean, I just say one operation, but that's that. So yeah, in this way we get the member count, get member count. And then what I will need to do is I will need to create a repeater that has an initial value of 2. We can also do that with 1 over here, to be fair. Over here with the repeats, what we need to do is we need to put this number, which is like the total number of users, and divide this number by 30, which is the maximum amount of members that Skool gets out of each page. And then on top of that, what we need to do is we need to use the seal, which returns the smaller integer greater than or equal to a specified number. So for example, if here we have 31, so like we do 31 divided 30, we have 1.03. This returns 2 as a number. So in this way, we actually return a bigger number, and in this way, we can go through every element that is present within the array one time. So let me go take this module over here, and what I'm gonna do over here is I'm gonna put the flow control, and then I'm gonna put this component over here. But what we will need to do is we will need to change the number over here. So in this way, we actually get the user, and everything over here seems to be correct. So what is gonna happen by using this kind of flow is that first off, we get the Skool community member, then we get the member count using this regex formula, and then what we do is we repeat this scraping of community users starting from 1. And then we repeat this until we finish the number of users that are present. So if we have 30 users and we have like 7,000 members, what it's gonna do is it's gonna repeat this 233 times to scrape all the users. So probably this is gonna consume a lot of operation. So like that is one way of doing that. Another possible way of simplifying this would be that instead of iterating on the array over here, because this in the end is gonna consume like 30 times like 233, so like 7,000, more than 7,000 operations to scrape everything over here, which is like expected to scrape a complete list. But what you can do instead is, instead of using this, you could potentially add the full user group as a bulk to Google Sheets. That is another option. Maybe I will also show a tutorial on how to do that. But for now, let's start this and let's see what is the actual result looking like. So right now it's gonna start adding people over here. And once this reaches 30, it will start the second scrape over here, and then it will continue adding people. So in this way, we are able to scrape a complete list of users directly within Skool, just by doing this, just by creating this kind of system over here. Right now, obviously, this system is a little bit costly, depending on the type of users that you need to do. But if all your users are within a specific community, this could be really powerful to get everyone over there. The other thing then is once you have those list of users, you can import this list, or you can do different operations to get the LinkedIn URL of these people, or whatever kind of information you need in order to come to the email, and then either connect to them through LinkedIn, or connect through them through email, for example, and reach out to them. So yeah, hope this was useful. This was an example of how you can build an automation that scrapes a Skool community. Let me know if you have any kind of doubts, and I'll be more than happy to guide you through a couple of other additional automations in the next days. With that said, thanks. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.